stop eating as well.
Stop eating. I don't care. You whatever you like. I'm gonna stop eating.
You stop eating, starve.
Stop eating the beans, Hawk.
Hey, you're not the British government.
Not yet.
Oh,
Not yet.
all right. So John's like, and then we will conquer the UK with our money.
We'll dig a tunnel.
Nowhere else. Yeah, nowhere else. Just the UK.
Oh boy. Okay, let's get going. Welcome to Smudcast number 189, folks. This is the toxic masculinity of Ang Lee's Hulk. Now, before you get crazy about the title there, this is actually a good video. I watched the video. I was curious to find out what the problem was with the Hulk and toxic masculinity. It doesn't really come up like as we would think a toxic masculinity video might. This is just a guy who loves the movie, and he's talking about men in general with referencing the film and stuff that happens. And then he has some nice little sort of, if you have problems, just, talk about it with people, talk to me. It's a good video. I'm like, wow, this is good. There's nothing wrong with this. Now, I'm sure we'll find some problems as we go. But other than that, yes. I like the video. I'm glad we have a change of pace that we can just sit back and have a drink and go, yeah, he's a good video maker. He's not crazy.
I'm going to say,
wow.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking, the last thing I remember about this Hulk movie is he fights giant dogs.
Yes, you're right.
Oh,
he does.
He fights a giant poodle, doesn't he?
There's 3 of them, yeah. I don't remember which they were.
Yeah.
But this is before the MCU, and they redid the second Hulk film to be The Incredible Hulk with whomever. I can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, so it's outside before Marvel got big. I'm not even sure how this got out, but it did make money. It was successful at the box office, which is impressive considering not too many people liked it. So, and this guy loves it.
It was just after X-Men and Spider-Man, wasn't it? This movie came out 2003, I think. So,
I don't remember the date. It's been a while. But anyway, this is by a YouTuber called Panels to Pixels. He has 37,000 subs. This video came out in May 2020, and it has almost 9,000 views. So it's not, this super popular dude, not a super popular video, but it's such a good video. And I thought we should cover it. It was either between this and Jesse Gender, and I was like, we're going to do this one. This one's
yes.
Gotta pace out the cross-dressers on the Smudcast. We got to make sure they're, even amount of representation. We have to be inclusive on Smudcast. You gotta have, mix it up.
Yeah, we have to include good content.
That's okay.
We have to balance the great scales.
The great scales of all the weird people, and make sure there's enough weirdness to go around. Yeah.
Yeah. Each month we have like one good video.
That would be nice. I would like that ratio. At least one. Holy jeez, that would be fantastic. Okay, so this is a 21-minute video. It's broken into parts. We could skip the first 6 minutes if you guys want, but it's all just, talking about the movie, which is fine. But we'll see how we do. So I'm not sure why he's quoting Milton here, but that's fine. I don't mind.
Okay.
I was just turning 11 when Ang Lee's Hulk came out in 2003. In fact, it was released the day before my 11th birthday here in the UK. 11 is a pretty transformative age. Your body is being bombarded with an explosion of gamma rays, by which I mean hormones. To add to this, I was feeling especially nervous that summer about starting high school in a new area where I wouldn't know many people. In hindsight, I think this is the moment when I became a kind of anxious and introverted kid. The Hulk had always been one of my favourite Marvel characters from as early as I can remember. I watched the 90s cartoon on Saturday mornings, and I liked how his action figures could always withstand more abuse than your average Spider-Man or Luke Skywalker.
You know, I never actually got into the Hulk, either the comic or the animated version. It never was my thing. I don't know why.
Same.
There was
Also,
Spider-Man.
he loses.
Sorry?
Yeah, carry on.
No,
No, carry on.
there was Spider-Man, which was the more mature, the second most mature cartoon on Western TV on Saturdays. The number one was always Gargoyles for me. And I think X-Men was kind of like the soap opera version of some of those things. So that was the top three, I think, for me at least.
Also, well, for me, also a big thing was I was never big into comics, at least Western comics. I was always more into manga.
Right.
Probably has to do with manga's facial expression being easier to read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't get too much manga in the 90s and the early 2000s either, so it just started getting... We had this thing called Mix Zine, which just started getting published in the West, and they had stuff like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball and a bunch of other bigger names, but weird ones too that I'd never heard of before. So it was a strange introduction to manga.
Well, but I think, if I remember correctly, my introduction to manga was Kenshin.
Really? Huh. I'm trying to
remember. My brother had a full collection of it, and so I was like, oh. That's how I got into it.
Yeah, I never... To be honest with you, watching TV growing up in the UK, I was one of the poor families that just had the 5 channels. I never had, like, Sky or cable, as you would call it.
Oh, okay.
So I just got stuck with the 5 generic channels. So I never really got to see half of this stuff in the 90s. I just
remember the styles of manga back then. There was Sailor Moon. These were all like shoujo manga, I believe. So there was like Magic Knight Ray Earth, and Parasite was the weird one. And it was like, wow, this is manga? Because I knew anime was a thing, but I never really, saw much of it. And then this manga started coming out. And then we got like Oh My Goddess or Oh My Goddess in comic book shops. So that was a big, cool thing, because Oh My Goddess was like the writer, the artist, also writer, was a mechanical engineer. So it was a story about this guy who's into like bikes and fixing stuff.
All right.
And it was highly detailed, in like him and his bike and his goddesses that are helping him out, whatever problem he's got. And it's always this crazy romance comedy stuff, which was cute. I thought that was really well. I never saw anything like that before. So I really liked that style.
Well, until I was like 12 or 13, we were only allowed to watch kids channel, so we never had any of that stuff.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And we only were allowed very limited TV time, and only after having spent 2 hours outside each day.
Oh.
So, when it comes to anime, I think I remember like 14 when the Digimon and Beyblade and that stuff came on TV over here.
No, Digimon. Oh, yeah.
Apparently, Digimon was bigger than Pokemon at the time. I don't know if it is anymore, but it's probably not.
I grew up more with Pokemon, but the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't really remember.
Here is Taker610. Thank you. Best SJW nonsense title ever. Kratos 2, I guess. Well, the title does sound like clickbait, and I agree.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad video, which is impressive. So he doesn't what's the term? He doesn't act like all we expect him to act like. He doesn't have this massive bias about lefty nonsense about SJW crap. So, which is nice. He's probably still is one of those guys, but he comes across as intelligent, which is so refreshing. You have no idea how.
Comes across as sane.
He could have a conversation with us, and we'd go, "Thank you, you're not insane." Even if he has the same attitude.
Oh, thank God! Oh.
You could have a beer.
I think,
and he could drink his water, and we'd have a great conversation, and I think everyone would get along.
My only negative for the video so far is he's British, and he called it high school, not secondary school, which is. Also, in most secondary schools, you go up with at least some of your members of your primary school, unless you went somewhere completely different.
It's possible.
So
The
possible.
guy seems. I mean, he's got a brain. I'm like, this guy's smart.
Maybe he was an absolute prodigy and got to high school at 11.
And then he read
Yeah.
Marx, and then he went, "Wait a second, this guy's a bit crazy. I'm only going to read a little bit of Marx." And then he went, then he put the book down.
Nah, this is a silly thing. Let's read Trotsky.
Yeah, dialectic materialism. That's interesting. That I think I've had enough. Done. That's it. That's all I
Yep.
needed.
Anyway, on
Let's
to the
not
Hulk.
go there. Tis a silly place. Yeah, continue with Hulk.
It's just like Marxism, Trotskyism. Hulkism. I'll read that.
Look, yeah, that's a great. I'll pick up some Stanley. Well, that's good. I like that.
Hulk was the ultimate power fantasy for any noodle-armed young boy such as myself. So when the movie rolled around that summer, I was an easy mark. My bedroom was decked out like a dedicated...
Long jump? Is that like track and field stuff, or is he just talking in general? I don't know if...
What was that?
Yeah, no, maybe he's making a joke, but he's referring to long jump, and I was like, is that a thing, or is that like a track event, or... I'm not sure.
I have a question. This may just be my background, but is Hulk a power fantasy?
Yes, in some cases.
Yes, and no.
Okay, but because to me he never appeared like a power fantasy. I probably jot that down to my long experience with martial arts, where controlling yourself is always so important.
Yeah.
I think the power fantasy comes from the fact that you can smash anything in your way.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Hulk has always been
that's the power.
The idea that if you are so distraught and so hampered down, or whatever your scenario is, that you can somehow react to that in a very violent manner, but in an uncontrollable way.
Yeah, but to me also, at least in my conception of a power fantasy, it's a lot about you being, able to control the power, being, master of it, that allows you to basically then overpower others. But with the Hulk, it's basically just a nuke button.
Yeah, whereas with Superman, you have like a numerous number of powers to use to, if you were angry, for example, to like break a guy's legs or throw him against the wall or fly him up in the air. As opposed to
it's the world of it's the world of cardboard speech, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trying to say that he's wrong. I definitely could see that it was a power fantasy for him. I'm just saying that to me it seems a bit strange.
I'm trying to remember
to see Hulk as a power fantasy.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was.
I would not want to be the Hulk. To be brutally honest, I wouldn't want to be him.
Well, I like the smart part. Maybe not the break anything and crush everything and forget about it. That'd be kind of scary. But
to get slightly peeved and then end up with $60 billion worth of damage.
I'm trying to remember. Was it Amalgam Comics when they did that crossover with Marvel and DC? And I think the matchup was Hulk and Superman, and I think Superman won. And that's by voting, so it was all based off people.
I know. Batman's beaten the Hulk in one of the comics.
Really? Huh. Okay.
With sleeping gas and then punching him in the diaphragm, I think it was. Knocked the Hulk out, and no one was happy about that.
That doesn't sound right. No, punching Hulk in the diaphragm wouldn't do anything, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can see sleeping gas working if you use enough of it. But...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think what happens is if Batman slows sleeping gas, the Hulk just laughs and holds his breath because he can do it for a very long time. I think, and this is what's in the comic panel that I've seen. And Batman kicks him somewhere, or hits him somewhere that forces him to like take a gasp.
Okay.
He shoots an arrow into his Achilles heel.
Yeah, it's not great.
Well, when you have a Hulk who can generate what is it called, the thunderclap move, where he just smashes his hands together, and the shockwave is so powerful it just annihilates like anything within a block radius. Like if he doesn't want to breathe, he would just I'll just remove all the air from this area.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Batman fan, but even I'm like, no.
Yeah, he's on a level of power that is beyond and getting close to Superman level. Sometimes, if you read, is it World Destroyer Hulk? I can't remember all the names he's been given over the years.
Yeah,
like it's like not even
Hulk
close to to normal
Yeah,
human.
Marvel. I have to admit, Marvel. A lot of Marvel characters are like miles stronger than DC characters. To the point where you're like, Jesus Christ, if there really was like a
When you're
versus
talking-
thing, it really wouldn't be.
When you're
close.
talking about some of the gods, yes, I would say a lot of DC characters are much more strong, much more powerful than the Marvel. It depends when you talk about the Omega level mutants and the Eternals and
Yeah,
all those things. But then
We
DC
get them,
also
but-
has some of those as well. So, but in general,
but DC has a lot of normal humans though.
oh yeah, the Batman
In the yeah.
mythos has all kinds of normal people. But we look at like the villains that DC or that Superman goes up against, that he has to face.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. These guys are like gods. You're like, okay, this is stupid.
Yeah, but yeah. I just feel that sometimes when you look at Marvel and stuff, you think, wow, these people are like, Jesus, how does anybody do anything? It's just like, wow, these are.
Like comparing the Flash
Yeah.
like Quicksilver is a joke. It's just Flash is just stupidly fast, and Quicksilver is like the speed of sound. You're like, okay,
Oh yeah, I love that. I love Flash because they in the films, or at least they kind of, because they are not competent, they always have to adjust his speed or
Yeah.
take him out of the picture for a while so that he doesn't immediately win.
yeah, it's like he's
Yeah.
done. Any problem? Done. What's the problem? Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I can do it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So they have to put him into like this other dimension where he's so fast that's exactly where he has to be because he broke the speed barrier, whatever bullshit. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a thing called the Speed Force, and it's a limited
Does
use.
he
of-
have a
Speed Force.
weakness?
Does he have a weakness? Yes, banana peels.
Oh,
You think I'm joking? No, that is literally that. Anything that can is literally his weakness. The Joker in the
Okay.
Justice League defeats the entire pretty much most of the main people of the Justice League, and to defeat the Flash, he just rolls marbles on the floor.
okay. That makes me question: how does he not immediately tip every time he starts running? He's so
I
fast.
don't know.
There's so much in his way.
I don't know, but in that same episode, the Joker throws a toy doll at Wonder Woman. She catches it, looks at it, and it explodes, and she gets knocked unconscious.
All right then.
If you could travel several times faster than light, I don't think a marble's going to slow you down.
It might speed you up.
Yeah, you go
He runs
faster.
really fast. Gets onto the marbles, and then he flies forward and hits a wall and gets knocked unconscious, and you're just like, okay, cool, well done, Flash.
More like cause a
I'm not
nuclear
sure-
eruption, not unconscious. You like,
I'm not sure if the physics engine of the real world is good enough to calculate the force that the impact of his feet on the marbles.
yeah.
Yeah.
You need friction that can exceed infinite energy. Like, yeah, we can't do that unless you want to destroy the ground beneath you.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's stop speculating about all these wonderful heroes and get
Oh,
back to
if anyone actually does want to see that, it's called Injustice for All. It's a Justice League episode from the DC animated universe. So you've got Mark Hamill Joker and Kevin Conroy Batman and stuff like that. It's an okay episode.
all right.
Hulk gift shop with toys, posters, t-shirts and comics littering every inch of floor space. I liked the movie just fine at the time. It had the Hulk in live action, smashing and ripping tanks apart. What more could I ask for? To be honest, comic book movies had a particularly low bar to hurdle for me back then. Just seeing the characters I loved on the big screen in any capacity felt like a dream come true. But now, in 2020, I feel confident in saying that Ang Lee's Hulk is a masterpiece of superhero cinema.
Masterpiece. Wow.
Never used the word man.
In a pre-The Dark
Yeah, you gotta say again. We talked about the term masterpiece. So Ang Lee, I don't even know what he's known for, but very strange to have him choose to be a film director of Hulk. So
Yes. What did he do?
I actually don't know.
yeah, I don't know either. But it came out of nowhere. That's the thing.
Knight World,
Yeah,
Hulk
it's
was a
very weird.
complex psychodrama at a time when audiences didn't know to expect that from movies about men in tights. This was a serious and thought-provoking take on the superhero genre, without any of the self-assured wit and smirking cynicism that would go on to define the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Off the back of critically acclaimed films like 1995's Sense and Sensibility and 2000's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Ang Lee was given full directorial control to craft a big-budget action
I just went
flick
off to try and find out what he does, and it was Crouching Dragon.
Yeah, very, very different series of films this guy can do.
Mm-hmm.
And Life of Pi.
Yeah.
So,
Gemini Man as well.
Yeah.
He's got a.
I literally came out. I literally went out of the join together because I had to use a different tab on my phone. Looked up, found his videos, came back, and the first one that I was going to mention was literally the first thing I saw. I was like, oh well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah, but you got to understand this guy has the sensibility and technical know-how to showcase a wire fu extravaganza like Crouching Tiger, and Sense and Sensibility. Like, wait a second, this guy could just shoot anything. Like, what? That's a pretty big range.
Yeah.
So, what happened with Hulk? I don't know. That seems a bit. And this guy thinks it's a masterpiece. You're like, wow. Okay.
It's a fine early 2000s. If it's on, I might put it on in the background. That's about it.
Oh, that bad, huh?
It's not Spider-Man 2.
It's not. No, it's not. It's definitely not. Some of these reviews are not good. They're like middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, that's fine.
There's, I don't know what it is. It's not very memorable. I've seen it a few times when I obviously growing up, and I think I watched it about 3 or 4 years ago. There's not really much that I can. Nothing really stands out. I remember stuff, but nothing like, you go, oh yeah, this bit. You're like, giant poodle. I remember that bit.
Oh boy, yeah. I remember the cute dogs that have been turned into creatures by gamma radiation or whatever.
And Nick Nolte is insane.
Well, that's just Nick Nolte. Just throw him in a movie. It's like, hey Nick, can we have you in a movie? What do you want me to do?
I think he just probably wanted. He probably just wandered onto set. I just roll. We'll make him the bad guy. Sure, whatever.
Abilities of an art house picture. As Lee himself described it, Hulk was the world's most expensive indie movie. In addition to this, the director also brought an Eastern perspective to this Western mythology, incorporating the concept of the Chinese Yin and Yang, the dark and the light. At the heart of the Hulk story is this dichotomy between weakness and strength, repression and release.
But does it necessarily have to be yin yang? Isn't it just the core of the character to begin with?
It depends how it's presented. If he wants to show that there should be anger or control and release from both sides, then you'd have to properly personify that. You'd have, like, I don't know the personification of Hulk. He's a big hulking creature that doesn't talk.
Yeah.
So there has to be.
The concept of yin yang also exists outside of the Eastern world. It's a very old concept that exists in most cultures. So.
Yeah.
I find it a bit strange how he
That's what it's most famous, though, isn't it? Though.
There have to be, if that's the problem, that's the main struggle, is this character drama where he's trying to do X and he can't do it, and he's identifying the things that make him do X, and then all of a sudden he's hit by this experiment and he becomes this other creature. And if I remember correctly, he doesn't remember what he does, but he's fighting with himself all the time.
Yeah.
So it's an inner struggle. So it's more of a character piece than it is a action-adventure film, because you're dealing with this person who can't manipulate or can't come to terms with his feelings. And it just happens to be anger.
I think just with the mentioning of the yin and yang, I think he just assumed quite a bit about the intentions of the director. Just said, like, the director wanted to bring that dichotomy to it. I'm like, did he?
I would like a quote. Yeah, that'd be nice. Not that we need like a character, or we need a director commentary to tell. Here's where I thought the yin and yang moment. It's like, we don't need that. It would help his argument, but I don't really care. I want to know his argument, but I don't really care. I want to know where in the film is this present.
Yeah.
To be
Let's see if he
honest,
does do
the
that.
Hulk is just another take on the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde style.
I also always thought that.
Patching it through.
Yeah, I
for sure.
always just thought it is that two opposing sides inside the man. So.
Well, I always like the idea that it's hard to express anger properly, and to have it represent as a literal personification of a creature is simple. It's a very visual thing to do. I remember some of my artist friends, one of them in particular, he was talking about, because he's a very chilled out dude, like he never understood the concept of getting super angry. And he always wanted to know what that felt like, because I guess he's just been that cool as a guy. He was just chilled out all his life, I guess. I don't know. And he tried to draw his face like in a really like open, screaming mouth, like eyes tightly shut. And he's a really good artist, so he drew that, but he never understood the emotion behind it. I thought that was rather fascinating because he was talking to me about these feelings that he can draw, but he doesn't get them. He doesn't understand them, which I thought was cool. But anyway.
Yeah.
Kyle Rocket, thank you, sir. I kind of see what he's saying. Banner would be yin, the Hulk would be yang. They both need each other to maintain balance. It's possible. It depends on the personification of the Hulk to represent that thing. I don't know how you would do that unless it's just a big, scary dude.
Do they need each other because he survived without Hulk? Or are we going by the fact that Hulk's always been inside of him and gamma radiation's just allowed Hulk out?
That would be the Dr. Jekyll thing. Yeah, there would be another persona out there inside him that he's sort of fighting against. And then this crazy experiment causes this to happen, to pop out. So, yeah, no, it is an interesting story about an individual character going through a change. I don't know how far you can develop that, though. Once you actually have the I've gotten over my fears, I've gotten over my pain, whatever it is. It's like, okay, then are you going to...
Oh, just give him a pair of glasses.
Yeah, it's like, is it now very similar to X-Men where they learn to control their ice powers or what? Which I think we got in the MCU. Yeah. I don't remember. He just can turn it on off at the end.
Yeah.
Or halfway.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Also, I found it an interesting assumption that just because Ang Lee is Asian, he will bring in an Asian perspective.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's what Asian people do.
It's always Confucianism or Buddhism, guys. It's always one of the two. It's all you got.
The only thing that Asia ever brings to America is cultures and a bombing run. That's it.
Oh. And chicken fried rice. All right. Kyle Rocket. Banner's father was so abusive he made the Hulk as an imaginary protector. Think of it as someone with split personality developing a new alter ego. Okay. All right. If that's the case, then yeah, they are dealing with the controlled emotions that's being repressed, and the concept of multiple personality that surfaces as a result of, well, gamma radiation, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Oh God, that just gave me a great image. Just imagine, I forgot the name of the doctor who's the Hulk. Bruce Banner. Just imagine Bruce Banner talking to Hulk like Gollum talks to his personalities.
Oh my God. But instead of precious, he just wants to break things.
Yeah.
Hulk break?
Gollum smash.
Break now? Kill crush now?
Keeps the ring.
Anyways.
Gollum smashes ring. Because Lord of the Rings is gay.
We have seen so many different on-screen depictions of the Jade Giant by now, from Hulk Smash to Hulk Smashed Avocado. But in my humble opinion, Eric Banner's portrayal of Bruce Banner and his big green alter ego remains the most faithful to the original premise set out in the comics. The Hulk was, of course, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and first appeared in The Incredible Hulk Issue 1, published May 1962. Following his accidental exposure to gamma radiation, feeble scientist Dr. Bruce Banner is physically transformed from man into monster. Originally, this transformation took place whenever night fell, but as the character was further refined issues later, Banner would turn into the big green meanie when subjected to emotional stress. Don't make him angry, you wouldn't like him when he's angry. Here's Stan Lee talking about the inspiration behind the character.
I always liked Jekyll and Hyde, and I always liked the Frankenstein movie. Karloff. And in the Frankenstein movie, I always felt the monster is really the good guy. He didn't want to hurt anybody. All those idiots with torches were always chasing him up and down the hills. So I thought it would be fun to get a monster who was really a good guy. But nobody knew that. And to take a leaf from the Jekyll and Hyde thing, where he could change from a normal person into the monster. And I did the Hulk.
The influence of these figures of Gothic literature may seem superficial at first, just cartoonish monsters inspiring another cartoonish monster.
The monster in that horror genre aren't quite cartoonish.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them cartoonish.
Mary Shelley's is a very specific kind of story, and the film adaptation's takes a few liberties here and there. So
yeah.
It's not an approximation. It's kind of we're making it for a film. We got to make it a little goofy and a little I don't know, theatrical.
Oh God. I laughed my ass off when the monster runs. Sorry.
No, carry on, philosopher. Now you carry on.
I laughed my ass off when the monster runs into a woman for the first time. The monster. I forgot exactly how it goes, but she sees the monster goes, eh, and she just starts screaming. I'm like, that's kind of funny.
Oh, my love life summed up in one scene.
Oh no.
Also, with some of these movies, of the 40s, there's very few movies that you don't look back to at the 40s that look cartoonish and silly.
Well, you got to imagine.
Old films seem often cartoonish.
Yeah, the concepts that they were dealing with, the technology they were using, and how they could make a narrative on film at the time. So it's like, for whatever they were doing, they have to do something entertaining for people. How do you do it? And
also, the acting style is very strange.
It's a tough thing.
Also, just in general, I recommend
it's
the
completely
book.
Different.
I would recommend the book. It's a good read.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when you read the book, it's like it delves into the ideas of bringing people back from the dead. How can you do this? How does it work? And assembling body parts and doing all these macabre things. And it's like, oh, this is kind of scary stuff. And what do you do after that? Like, how does this thing survive? What can you do with them? So there's lots of elements of existential angst, I guess.
Well, it also delves into the psychology of the monster itself.
Right. Yeah. So, what does he want? How does he deal with these feelings now that he's back? What can he do? How does he live? So it's a little different in the.
I always enjoy the sequel to Frankenstein, The Munsters. That explains a lot.
The Munsters? Oh, that's like again. See, that's another adaptation. Exactly. They turned it into a sitcom, and it's adorable. Yeah. It's just fun.
It is. It's wonderful.
Then they had like the Bride of Frankenstein, and all these other goofy B plots. And you're like, all right, whatever.
Him and Munster, and then cousin, I think it's cousin Jane or something, who's just a normal human, who's the weird one. As in, they think of her as the weird one.
I know, but they're like the nicest bunch of people. They're just so kind, and it's like,
it's like, what's never heard of the Munsters.
The Munsters are great.
The Munsters, it's great. It's a 1950s black and white comedy.
Yeah. There's a few clips on.
Just a sitcom.
There's a few clips on YouTube that are adorable. They're just so perfect. And it's basically before we had Martin Luther King, you had another speech by what's his name, and he's talking about the size of your heart is what matters, not the way you look. And he's making this joke.
Him and Monsters. The speech.
He has this speech where even though you don't have the good looks as I do, as my wife knows, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you look.
He got Frankenstein's monsters again. Not everyone has good looks like I do, but it's the size of your heart that counts.
Great speech, yeah. Anyway.
But to really get to grips with the character of Bruce Banner and the Hulk, you must first understand the well from which Lee and Kirby were drawing. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, first published in 1818, is a deeply philosophical tale of science, creation, and the relationship between God and man, father and son. While with 1886's Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Robert Louis Stevenson delivered a genre-defining meditation on the duality of man, with its allegories of addiction and homosexuality. Perhaps one reason Hulk failed to connect with superhero movie lovers at the time is that, in this film at least, Hulk isn't a superhero. Like Frankenstein's monster, Hulk is a victim, a casualty of science, now public enemy number one. Upon its release, Hulk was met with folded arms by critics who decried its somber tone and morose meditation on the human condition. For Entertainment Weekly, Lisa Schwartzbaum wrote, "A big-budget comic book adaptation has rarely felt so humorless and intellectually defensive about its own pulpy roots." Now, I can imagine that going into a summer blockbuster, whose namesake is famous for being a viridescent vendor of violence, you might well be dismayed to find scene after scene of glassy-eyed stares and hushed contemplation. But beneath the film's subdued surface, there rages a classic monster movie that is bold and expressive, one that doesn't concede to explosive set pieces or sheepish winks towards the fans.
That's an interesting take because, you think of these films as, books that you want to see, but the rest of us see it as just another comic book flick that didn't quite land too well. And the director obviously had different ideas. So, I don't know. I don't really have much highbrow outlooks for these sorts of films, even though they're based off Marvel IP. I just see them as the people didn't really like them. Maybe they were too introspective. They weren't fun enough. They weren't for kids because the writer director wanted to take more ideas from the concept of a monster as opposed to what the crazy comic books of the Hulk were.
My only problem with it is I feel that this thinking of it was too highbrow always comes out years and years later. You never really hear anything like this around the release of the movie. You hear it years and years later, like in the extended commentary or on Twitter. Now, do you know what I mean?
Well, I think part of that is just in general the case because when something's rather new, you didn't really, it's not quote unquote digested yet, so you couldn't go fully through it yet with a lens that isn't quite tainted by the first viewing, so to speak.
I don't know. I tend to think of like children's films like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it has a little bit of everything. They try crazy things here and there. There's all these weird scenes. Did people actually die? I don't know exactly what happens. So it's weird enough and goofy enough and fun enough and musical enough. It just has enough of everything to carry it along. Yeah. Especially that weird trippy scene in the gondola where they're like going through this tunnel and it's all like
yes,
like crazy. Like, what is happening? So
I still have no idea what was going through people's the film crew's head were making that.
But what they came out with was amazing.
A personal pet peeve of mine, I very much dislike it when people describe films and that. I think it comes from what one Professor Flesh really hit into her head when learning how to write scientific literature. But anyways, it's flowery language, using flowery language. It's bold, it's expressive, without ever saying what is bold or what is expressive about it.
Yes.
I really dislike that because it's just me. It's just I can't do anything with that statement. It's just like, oh, whatever.
There are plenty of Japanese films, and we're talking about different sensibilities of the West compared to the East, that there's so many moments, there's so many long scenes that don't have any point aside from what you interpret, and that's kind of what they're going for in this slice of life sort of scenario or setting. And you sit there going, what does it mean to you? And that's where a lot of these film majors go, oh, it's so profound. It's like, yeah, there's nothing there. It's a guy sitting at a table looking at a menu, and it's like, okay, that's a lot of the writers in Japan. Like we talk about Killing Commendatore, which is by one of the more famous currently living authors in Japan, that came out, I think, 2 years ago. And it's a slice of life. And you have to understand that if once you go into those stories, you're not following a typical plot structure. You're not following like dilemma and then resolution. It's just guy gets up, does stuff, meets other people, repeat, and that's it. So that sensibility is lost on Western audiences. But, you know, it's called Hulk, and we know where it's from. So you got to give us something that's pulpy, something that's comic booky, and then go into the crazy, weird, psychedelic stuff if you want.
Yeah, Marvel. I don't think Marvel Studios told Ang Lee they want make us a comic book movie. You know, I don't think they wanted a deep philosophical movie.
Yeah, but this is before Iron Man. This is before the MCU was a thing.
Yeah.
So,
And personally, I mean, I personally don't mind that. I find it perfectly fine if they pull it off well.
Yeah.
It's a weird choice to do it with Hulk, for example. I think because you know the genre and everything.
Right.
But
the major thing is it's trying to be this philosophical thing, and then, like I keep saying, you've got giant dogs and Nick Nolte going fucking insane.
yeah, true enough.
It wants to do all these things and then goes straight back into what? Hang on, what? Nick Nolte going then biting into an electrical wire and then getting electrocuted. What? Okay. That is a scene. I'm
It's
not
a film
joking.
anxiety and trauma, domestic abuse, and the futility of rage.
I don't know. I don't think rage is futile. I think it's expressive. You have to get it out.
Well, sometimes if channeled properly, it's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she's burnt the steak, get that rage out.
Get the rage. Oh my God. So this is the 6-minute mark, which I was talking about. This is where we should focus our attention. So.
Right. Okay.
Now look, I know that some of you out there will be bristling at the mere mention of toxic masculinity. The truth is that there's a lot of misconceptions around the term. You see, toxic masculinity doesn't mean that masculinity is inherently toxic, but it instead refers to the negative societal and cultural norms that are associated with being a man. The concept isn't intended to demonize men, far from it. Both women and men are the victims of toxic masculinity. By positioning us as emotionless, sex-obsessed fighting machines, it shapes men's involvement in sexist and patriarchal behaviours.
So that doesn't demonize men? Really?
Toxic masculinity, women most affected.
I think
I hate that when they just say, society, it shapes us. Like,
so how
Yes,
is
it
that not
does.
demonizing us? I don't get it.
but it's not like we're brainwashed.
Yeah. I almost want to say toxic masculinity, emotionless, sex-obsessed killing machines. Yes, and your problem is?
Also, growing up, it was very much extremely put at the center of at one of the center of raising kids for my parents was never hit a girl.
Yeah, I know.
So
You do not hit a girl. You beat the ever-living daylight.
Okay, maybe in the rest of the world, we were taught not to do this. In Hawksland, it's like, it's all right.
otherwise they will keep running away from
the
him.
backhand.
Smart. Otherwise they keep running away from him.
To knock them out. Yeah. Okay.
No, but the reason why men act so like this is because for millennia, this is how you got mates and got women and got power and got respect and got everything that you needed to do. Since you had to provide, people seem to forget. People seem to forget that men have to provide, and like it was a day-to-day thing of like just surviving.
Also, it is.
No offense. The soy boys were the first ones to go.
Some of the people, like men, you've gone into a big fight with, end up becoming very good friends because you just got to know each other in a very specific way.
Yeah.
You know,
It's very different. It's a very special way to get to know somebody physically. You know, that may sound strange, but if you have the first encounter, like punching each other, stuff like that, there's a certain intimacy to that.
That's an interesting take. I was about to comment on how the word toxic never really rubbed me the right way, because it seems to be like some sort of poison that is infecting men that they're passing on.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's behavior you don't like. So it's anything that's abrasive or seemingly rude to you, but then you have to be very specific. What is wrong with men trying to talk to women? Like, what is wrong? Like, remember that Gillette ad where a guy's about to go up to a girl?
Don't talk to her. Why? Why not?
Like, why not? She's right there. She looks great. Go say hi. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
She's not going to say hi to anyone. Believe me, they don't. Unless you're in Montreal.
Yes, they don't.
Come to Montreal, folks. It's a great city. I love that city. Anyway, but
well,
what does that term mean? We still don't know. And he's just giving a general definition. Like, no, it's just what society doesn't like from men. And he's not saying it's bad or doesn't demonize you, but yeah, it does actually. If you're saying it's bad.
Also, we all know that woman in the screen right there. Her panties are so wet for that guy.
But also one thing I just find so utterly fascinating. It's just like always toxic masculinity hurts men and women. It hurts everybody, but they never even want to acknowledge that women can be not very nice too.
Did anyone watch the Bedazzled remake with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley?
Really?
Suffer through that one.
That was oh my god.
So did you actually watch that? Please say yes. Otherwise, this little tangent goes nowhere.
Was this they come out at the same time? Oh yes, I saw it. That was with Elizabeth Hurley. Oh yeah. That was so weird.
In one of the things, he goes. Yeah, in one of the situations, Brendan Fraser's character asks to be more kind, caring, and feeling, and he becomes this absolute wet blanket, right? And the girl he's after runs off with the bullies, who kicks sand in his face. It's hilarious.
Oh dear! I actually remember there was a lot of. Was that a Disney flick? I can't remember who made that.
I can't remember, but it was that time of really bad remakes.
Yeah, there was like even Disney was doing stupid shit like this. I can't remember what it was, but weird scenarios.
I just watched because of Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah,
as the devil.
So did
Come
I.
on.
Yeah, I remember.
It's
like Elizabeth Hurley. You watch a film. She's in it. Okay, it's good.
It's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Plot? Oh yeah.
She's semi-clothed. That's all the reasoning I need to know. Totally fine.
But even that at this time was making a joke about feelings are fine, but if you overdo it, like what a lot of these people who've gone about toxic masculinity do, you're just going to be left in the dirt. Someone's going to take everything you want. Sorry. Yeah,
I still want more examples of this and that for they're being too aggressive or they're roughhousing too much. Like, no, that's normal. What's the problem? Give me examples where I can say, the guy's being too aggressive. You probably shouldn't be punching people. That's too much. It's like you're doing the right things just too far.
That's not being toxic. That's not being a toxic masculinity. That's just being a dick.
Yeah. Like you don't starting fights because it's fun. That's stupid. You get to know a guy.
Isn't a masculine. Starting fights isn't just a masculine thing. Women can start fights as well.
Right. They're just more catty about it, whereas men are.
I have a sister. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
They just go like, "Oh, you're serious? You want to throw down? Okay, we gotta step outside for a second." Okay.
Yeah, women. While men will fight outside the office, women will just destroy each other's reputations inside the office. That's the difference
then again,
between men fights and women fights.
But we are in my family. We are three. So with the kids, we have 3 guys, 1 girl, and so it could be that we influenced her because she's also very confronting and not very conniving.
That probably is. Your toxic masculinity seeped into her. She's the toxic male of your family.
And contributes to the violent and sexual abuse of women. Meanwhile, narrow-minded and stereotypical views of masculinity have a detrimental effect on our physical and emotional well-being, as well as our relationships with women, our kids, and other men. And although you might not think it to look at me, believe me, I've read the comments, but I value my masculinity. I really do. The positive aspects, at least. Compassion and emotional strength, being self-sufficient.
That's not really masculine, though. That's just, compassion is just a thing to have that anyone should have. It's nothing to do with being male.
Also, is anyone else irritated by him doing the incredibly smart move of having green lighting on half of his face?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
You noticed? Come on. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
are you even watching the screen, Hawk?
Message coming in.
am I even watching it? As he puts down his game controller. Yeah, sure.
Oh,
I am.
yeah.
Fully. No, I didn't notice it. I just didn't notice the. I'm not looking at his face.
I was looking at that hot lady from 1942. Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah, I was looking at the women. You get to look at women.
Also, just as a short aside, this scene he showed while talking about toxic masculinity, it didn't seem like those men were shown in a very favorable light.
No, they weren't. Yeah.
No,
At least to me.
you weren't rooting for the guys. You were rooting for the guy with the jumper and also the weird hamster-like walk he had.
Yeah, well. Fitness was not a
when
big
they
deal
put,
back then.
put the hands in front of them, and they look like a small rodent, and they walk away. I don't know.
Yeah,
Very
well,
strange.
if he was a bit bigger and buffer, those guys might not have pushed him around. So, who knows?
Yeah. Men, if you're under 5'10", just grow taller.
There you
You're
go.
fine.
Get some army boots and kick people's asses literally. There you go.
Yeah. Buy some stilts.
Well,
It's fine.
That's,
Don't
that's,
worry about
that's
Wear those Japanese sandals that have super long soles.
Yes.
Oh my god.
If you're a bloke who's 5'5", befriend a person who's 4'9",
Oh dear.
and then they'll go for him instead. Leave you alone.
Here's Taker 610. Queen Latifah is the new Equalizer. Sigh. She's got some run-ins. She's not the nicest lady, but she's okay. She's good.
She's fine. I mean, I wouldn't, but she's fine.
Yeah.
Hardworking, passionate about what I do, being able to support my friends and
This is very little to do with being a guy, but okay.
loved ones.
Yeah.
Wow,
social pressures
I
placed
am
on men to be
not
violent,
selfish.
competitive.
Yeah,
That's
great.
Yeah. Like I think of a guy, I think of like a really strong, like sort of Putin-like big dude who's just going to take on the country and just put it all back together. Ah, okay.
Yeah, I just when I think of a man, I think of someone who kicks puppies and like
Wow.
pushes prams down the street.
Jesus.
Yeah. Manly.
Manly, yeah,
But
just
no.
kick babies. All right. Gotta toughen them up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a good man. I help my friends. Okay,
Really?
wonderful.
Wow.
Most people do.
When I think of manly, I think of long curly hair and extremely smooth chin.
There you go.
Yeah, I think of long hair and green lighting and doing YouTube videos.
The
If you don't
European
have green
view.
lighting, you're the man.
The bisexual green lighting. Okay, there we go.
Yes. Manly green.
Manly,
That's what
as
it's
opposed to
called now.
bisexual purple. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's just something.
Bisexual purple, yes. And manly green.
Manly green.
Oh yeah, right there on the color scale, manly green.
Manly green.
Independent feeling, they don't benefit anybody. They only serve to keep us caged up and emotionally repressed. A hulk in the
What?
body of a feeble breed.
Independent feelings. Okay, the next time you get angry and you don't repress your feelings, you're gonna have a lot less friends at the end of the day, sir. So,
I
Oh
rather just
yeah. Yeah.
letting the breathing it out and stuff like that, or letting it out safely.
right, you learned this
Yeah,
very
next time,
early on.
next time you get annoyed with someone, just punch him in the jaw. Don't worry about it.
Just annihilate his ankles. Just destroy his appendages. Yeah, that's fine.
Just just when he's got his back turned, just get a 4x4 plank of wood and whack it over the back of his head. Do not worry about it. It's fine. At least you didn't repress your fucking feelings.
So it's more than just...
You should control your emotions to some degree.
It's more than just not expressing yourself to hurt others. It's because you learn that patience is a virtue, that you have to deal with tolerance and people who are different and different opinions.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the lessons of the Hulk. Anger is this thing you have to deal with.
When your boss asks if you can work after 5 p.m., just garrot him in the office. Don't worry about it. Just as long as you don't repress that anger.
Okay.
Learn from Hawk. Control your anger long enough until he turns his back to you.
Yeah.
Just pretend you're doing your laces up, but instead you're actually getting a garrote wire out of your laces.
Don't fight.
Your shoelaces are garrote wires.
Don't fight hard. Fight smart.
Yeah.
Find tools to kill people. Oh, not your bare hands. They leave
Message
fingerprints.
coming in.
Jump him in the dark. Jump him in a dark alley when they're walking home. Don't worry about it.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. Another video that makes me want to play catch with a 9mm using my teeth. Oh my god. It's not that bad. We're just making some jokes here, but he's actually doing well so far.
Yeah, he's not said something where we go, what? Why are you on about it? It's just
he showed a video from the 1940s or whatever. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We got it.
I am not a
Just
man
watch out that you don't get too
1940s.
good at the game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you catch every bullet.
Yeah. But yeah, he's literally this is the point where he goes like, I'm a male, but I'm not toxic.
Yeah,
Okay, great,
yeah.
wonderful. Let's move on.
Don't approach women, guys. That's bad. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, suicide is the #1 cause of death amongst men.
Okay.
And 76% of all suicides are by men. That's just over 3 out of every 4. Men are nearly 3 times more likely than women to become dependent on alcohol, and more likely to become reliant on drugs.
It's because we have taste and we like alcohol so much that women are just sort of a second thought. It's like, I could drink with a woman, or I could enjoy the scotch by myself.
No, he misunderstands the problem. We don't drink because we feel bad.
I know exactly where you're going.
You see, we drink because of the women. We don't want to be around.
But also, one thing, I don't know, the piano music it chose for this segment just irritates me so much.
Oh no, I gotta pull out the freaking...
It's the end credit music from the Hulk TV show. Dude,
is it really?
That one.
Yeah,
you know when you see David Banner like on the road with like trying to get a hitchhike to the next place he's got to go to. That's the music that usually plays over it.
That just made me personally, but I don't know. For me, when you have something very serious and you speak very softly, the plink plank plink plang of a piano, even if it's very nice, it just distracts me.
Yeah. Do you get the point? I might beat it over your head right now. It's like, yes, we get it. It's supposed to be an inspirational moment. But,
so it is interesting. It is interesting. He's relating this to
suicides happen to a lot. Suicides have a lot happen. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for suicides.
Drinking. So that's factually fine. I'm not like, yeah, those are bad things. I don't think that's related to men being aggressive. I don't, or whatever.
No joke. From personal experience, I can say sometimes it's actually women that can drive someone to
suicide. Yeah,
trying to commit suicide. It can be anyone. Yeah. Can be any factor. So many different factors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here is Jake the Surgeon. Hey, Jake, thanks again. I'm an expert at that game, at catching bullets in your teeth, or just like treating them like popcorn but not swallowing. Is that what you mean?
Or are you talking about grotting your boss?
I think he's referencing his previous super chat about the game of catching bullets with teeth.
Oh, right. Okay. That's good.
Okay.
And men are significantly less likely to access help and support for their mental health. Gender roles stigmatize and limit the emotions that boys and men are able to comfortably express.
I don't know.
No, no, because men go right. The reason why we don't, it's very.
Wait.
Trying to explain this.
He said gender roles.
It's one. Yeah, gender roles. Gender roles got nothing to do with your emotions. Get bent.
but I think he's
also,
referring to.
Once again, from personal experience, I've experienced too many people who want to quote unquote get rid of gender roles doing more damage than good.
Right, so he's generally saying
trying to get rid of the stuff.
Male as a gender role, not male as a person. So the male role is to act this way, as opposed to a male can behave this way, which is bad, like drinking too much or whatever. Mm-hmm. Which is going to happen more often because males tend to be more into the drink or tend to be more suicidal. Fine. But I don't think that's an inherently male thing just because more males are doing it. What's the behavior and thought pattern and the cause behind that outcome? What is it? The thing is, women are just as suicidal. They just don't go through with it.
Yep.
Yeah, they just sit around in their pajamas eating ice cream.
There you go. They don't get hung up as much.
They usually try quote unquote softer methods that aren't quite as violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Drugs,
we have to understand the psychosis of the behavior, not just here's the outcome. It must be male behavior. It's toxic. You're like, I don't think there's a guy out there teaching other guys to go kill themselves. I really don't think so.
Now, the reason why there are so many more suicide deaths by men is because we have to show the women who's boss and be better at everything.
We have to be better. Yeah.
The mentality is I'll show them once I commit suicide. It's like, well, okay. Yeah. I guess you will.
Pump those numbers up.
76. That's not high enough. We gotta get to the 80s.
Yeah. No, but to be honest. You know when they say like, why don't men show emotions a lot more? You try showing your emotions to a woman, 9 times out of 10, the woman's gonna fucking laugh in your face or use it against you.
Doesn't work very well.
No offense.
Unless you're gushing about how gorgeous she is and how much you love her, she doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are. I have met one woman in my life who actually does give a shit.
I'm not talking about your mom. Don't worry about it.
No, not my mom. My mom. No, I can't show my emotions with my mum.
All right.
Oh, a little bit bad there.
Here's Jake. Here's Jake the surgeon. There are multitude of reasons for male suicide. One of which being society treating us as expendable. That's certainly part of it. That's goes along with the whole going to war bit, coming back.
One of the biggest reasons for male suicide is loss of contact with kids.
Not having a purpose.
They lose custody of their kids because the courts favour women, and men kill themselves over that. So yeah.
The one thing with the war, I would also kind of add, it is a bit of a double-edged sword because I think one of the biggest virtues men have is their willingness to sacrifice themselves to save others.
Yeah.
So so basically, that's also then quote unquote a thing that armies prey on.
Yeah.
In a way to recruit men, the psychological game.
I think the sense of honor can work both ways, both with men and women. It depends on how far they can take that, because not all women are equipped to or prepared to go to war, let alone train. So
no.
Let alone pass basic to get into. If women
fought wars, there'd be no peace treaties because they'd be too bitchy with each other to sit around a table.
They'd just kill everyone.
Message
no
coming
one
in.
Else was like
Patching it through.
Like they'd turn up and somebody would be wearing the same uniform as someone else, and they'd have a big massive fight, and then they all go back home and change.
Here's Kyle Rocket. When's only time a man can show emotion is when mourning a death. I don't know.
Birth?
Women do like outbursts of emotion in certain positive lights.
You can show emotion at the birth of a child.
Yeah. having a really nice bottle of wine that you weren't expecting. That's always a very happy moment.
Having your friend ring you up and say, "I've got 70 bottles of beer. Do you want them for free?" That was emotional for me.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was almost in tears. Joy.
That's how you get talk to show emotions.
You know, it's like chocolate. It's like I will take the chocolate and I will try it and I will say it's shit, but you know what? It's still chocolate. It's still something.
Yeah.
It's like certain cheeses I hate, but it's cheese. Oh my god, I hate this cheese, but it's, I'm still eating it. I don't care.
It's cheese. I'm
oh my god, I hate this cheese.
Yes, it's cheese. It has a cheese flavor. This beer tastes so beer-like.
Oh no. This cheese has brought up my toxic masculinity. I'm going to have to punch you now.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Though I can certainly see how you want to punch someone after eating certain cheeses.
Oh god, if you have like a whole round of Frilano, it's like my life is meaningless, but at least it's tasty and creamy.
I mean, there are some cheeses where I'm surprised that people survive the flavor.
Yes.
They're intense, yes, but those are good cheeses. It's like I don't know why you ate 10 grams of that, but I mean, one would have sufficed.
Yeah, there's some types of cheeses I'm like, wow, I'm gonna be followed by like mice for like at least 6 months now. This is intensely cheesy.
Well, there's a certain kind of cheese that is specific to Switzerland that smells so strong that it has a very special packaging to make sure that the smell doesn't escape.
What, really? Wow.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Schabziger, it is packaged not like cheeses, it's more packaged like a yogurt.
Yeah.
Oh.
They have these plastic containers.
No, can you get it in other countries?
There's so many cheeses. Like in Italy, there's really, really disgusting ones that have larvae, like live larvae in them. So it's just you're just like, wow, that's crazy. So
no, that's not. It's not crazy, Smud. It's fucking insane.
It is scary. Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, crazy stories. I haven't tried these things, of course, but I've heard the stories of people serving these things at restaurants, and you're like, really? That's gross. So, yeah, you got to be careful with cheese, guys. But cheese and beer and all these lovely things.
Italians ruining everything.
What'd be really good is live larvae. Yeah, no, we don't think that way anymore. At least the saying Italian.
We moved out of the 14th century.
It's like, we got to get the hell out of this country. Why? You're doing crazy shit to cheese, all right? We don't like you anymore. We want to be another continent after this. All right.
We've all heard the phrase, big boys don't cry, and trust me, they don't come much bigger than this guy.
I never heard that phrase.
I've heard big girls don't cry. That's a song, but...
Big girls don't cry.
Yay, they don't cry. Yeah, it's great. See, this is cool. I like this. Boom.
Hulk is an overtly masculine film. The Green Goliath goes up against the military, an institution long associated with unspoken codes of behaviour and toxic masculine traits that negatively impact
unspoken codes of behaviour. No, we've got written
Banner
codes.
is routinely...
Yes, we have a very big, extremely old written code text that has the title Patriarchy.
I just thought that unwritten codes of behaviour. No, they have a lot of... They're called rules. They have a lot of them wrote down.
Yeah, but it's just a weird story.
So yeah, I'm sure there are some unwritten rules.
The army now follows the Geneva Convention now. Those were wrote down.
I'm sure there are many rules.
They're not unwritten rules. Thou shalt not genocide thy enemy.
Yeah,
once again, my biggest pet peeve with YouTube essays, Reezy said again, they always say it does that. It does that, and it does that, but they never say how it does it.
Also, the military was a natural thing that was created. It was just it's just the term we use for a group of people who defend a nation or an area.
Hey, look, that tribe constantly comes raiding us. Maybe we should make a group that defends us.
Yeah. And what should we call it? I don't know. Army? Yeah, that'll do. We'll use that till we think of something better. And stuck.
Here's Taker 610. Very interesting question. Would Maggie May jump this guy's bones or no? I don't know what Maggie May is actually attracted to, so I can't give a proper guess.
I think she's attracted to daddies.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
She definitely has a lot to say on it. I don't know if she likes them.
She's attracted to phallic-like objects.
Yes. Is she? Wait, no. I'm not even sure about that.
She mentions it loads. There's obviously something deep down.
We don't know. I can't get a definite answer what sexuality, what desires, or what she actually honestly likes in men.
She is probably whatever will get her the most likes on Twitter.
Oh no, she's one of those. I don't think so. I think she's a good girl. Just I don't understand her thinking. So I can't get a good.
You can tell. You can tell she's not for Smud because she's a good girl, and Smud only wants bad girls.
Bad girls. See, if she was bad, I'd know exactly what she likes. But if she was good, yeah, I don't. This whole concept of being a good girl, meaning that you do everything that everyone likes. You're sensitive to everything, like politics and whatever bullshit flavor of the year is to be woke, to be friendly. It's like, oh, support the I don't know, the minorities.
No, I want a girl in a leather jacket with a cigarette in her mouth who goes, "Come on, cunt, get on my bike." I'm like, yeah, go on then, yeah, sure.
Yeah, preferably.
So
yeah, sure, whatever.
I don't want a girl going like, "Oh, you didn't use the right pronouns."
Pronouns are so 2015, guys. Come on.
If I don't want somebody who breaks down in tears at every possible moment. I'm like, oh my god.
I love that when people like put pronouns on their bio. It's like, oh, this person, I know exactly where they're coming from, as if the pronouns matter at all to anyone.
I will never understand the pronouns thing because these pronouns aren't usually used when the person is present, and I don't give a shit what people talk about me. Well, to some extent, I mean, I maybe care if it's people I really care about, then I care what they think of me. But usually, if it's just random people, I don't care.
Do you? Oh, right, okay.
How do you even use the word they, them in a sentence when you're talking about a singular person? I never understood that. I was like, what? They are.
I can say, oh, they're like, oh, it's something that they think of. Yeah, that's fine. But sometimes I can mix and match with, oh, it's something that he thinks of. It's something that she thinks of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, plural singular or plural, plural individual or plural many, as referring to a group. And you're like, well, I'd say that anyway. So what are you talking about? Like, what? Why even tell me grammar when I know how grammar works to define a sentence? If you're using he, she, or male, female, just say, I don't know what the fuck I am. Look at me, I'm a clown.
And it actually gets confusing as fuck in languages that have grammatical genders.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It gets so confusing, and I'm like, just please use simple language, otherwise I'm just going to get confused. I just recently corrected a master thesis for someone, and she constantly used, gender pronouns, specific things, and they were, as compounds work in German, you can make them as long as you want, and there were just sometimes constructions that I just had to read 3 times to get what she means, because she used 2 dots in between male and female. It just got so confusing to read sometimes. I was just like, why?
Yeah, it is confusing. Yeah.
All right, I think we strayed from our path enough. Let's keep going.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that was I blame Taker 610 because we talked about Maggie May, and that just ruins our day. But we're fine.
Emasculated by the film's uniformed antagonists, General Thaddeus Ross, played here by Sam Elliott, and Glenn Talbot, who is the archetypal alpha male. Actor Josh Lucas is convincingly detestable as the cocksure army major, who is the antithesis of the meek and mild Bruce Banner. This tension is made all the more palpable whenever the two share a scene with the film's love interest and daughter of General Ross, Betty, as portrayed by Jennifer Connelly. The slimy, swaggering Talbot is a sexual competitor for Betty's affection, and he's clearly gained favour with her father. What ensues is scene after scene of the two men butting heads and measuring dicks. In fact, the overwhelmingly male cast of characters is only punctuated by Bruce's mother in flashbacks and Betty Ross herself. Betty comes to represent the emotional salvation in the film, a lighthouse in the storm. Bruce and by
This music does not suit. This music does not suit what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm getting some copyright audio alerts here. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. I'm like, oh shit, what the hell am I doing? It's like, it's not me.
Yeah. I'm just listening to this
paused
music.
regularly.
It's like also two blokes, but so the meek Miley person was butting heads with the stronger person, measuring dicks. Okay, so how's Bruce Banner a toxic male then?
I think it's the Hulk, but also
No, but you okay? Two blokes like a woman. So what you just do? Oh, I can't be a toxic male, so I'll just let the other guy take it.
Yeah, typical romance story. You have a triangle, whatever, and you deal with that each conflict as they come up. So whether this is a romance or a subgenre of romance, so you have a romance element, you have a action element, you have a mystery. You can do with these things. You just have to know how to play them out well. So,
right, I'm gonna be brutally honest. In real life, the woman does not go for the meek, mild guy.
No, but if you look at the actual camera angle, look how zoomed in we are to the scene. Like, it just takes up the entire shot. And we saw a shot before that when they showed her talking, or they introduced, or rather he introduced her, at very, very close-up shots. They're not far away. They're not showing the body, just the head up. So they want to focus on that emotion, whatever that emotion is. We're really looking at the actor, trying to see that dull, emotionless state of mind.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. He keeps just stating things without giving evidence. And
Yeah.
All right. The warning is gone. We're back to green. So let's keep going.
I'll if it's still play music, I'll think of something witty and toxic to say.
Extension, the Hulk only allows himself to be emotionally vulnerable around Betty. We see this when the two have their King Kong moment, with the Jade Giant gently picking her up and placing her on the car. The immediate aftermath is a scene that is much derided by the film's critics.
Yeah, this is the one everyone remembers.
The fight between Hulk and 3 gamma-irradiated mutts. I feel like
Mutts.
what?
I love that.
What was that word?
I'm from the UK. I say mutts.
What are mutts?
Mutts.
Yeah, mutts.
Mutts. Yeah, mutts. They're called the dogs. Very few people call them mutts in the UK.
Oh, dogs. Okay.
Yeah.
Dogs. Yes, dogs. Dogs.
English is not
woofers.
English is
woofers.
English is the
barking leg things.
third language I learned. So fourth, depending on how you see.
He could have said canines if you wanted to be Latin.
Canine.
But you know.
They're mutts. You're losing British points here, mate.
How British are you? Mutt?
He's so British. He's speaking British that doesn't get used anymore.
Oh
Are
no!
British points the unofficial social score of Britain?
It's for the world. You have to get at least 10 Brit points to be worthy.
All right.
You're from
state of the art,
so you've got
vaguely
like
comical CGI belies a scene that serves as a powerful counterpoint to the tender moment that precedes it. As soon as the dogs interrupt the pair, the Hulk's emotional...
It's a counterpoint.
I'm sorry, but I don't know whether it was on the watch give or something, but the video like paused on like Betty's mouth wide open.
Yeah.
It looked really weird, and it looked really strange, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this pause screen?" Also, you talk toxic masculinity. He's been attacked by 3 giant mutts. Do you want him to sit down, have tea, and talk to him?
Message coming in.
What's he meant to do at this point?
Patching it through.
This is actually an interesting way of showing violence right after a touching moment without having him like blow up a tank. So it's like, you gotta.
Also, kind of. Isn't he also kind of defending her?
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But defending
How
women
awful of him!
toxic,
Stop it.
But defending women is toxic masculinity. So you know what that means? We've got to do the opposite, which is beat women.
No, use them as a shield.
Use them as a shield. Use them as a weapon.
He just picks her up and beats the dogs with her.
They're giant mutated killing machines. I think he can kill them. I think it's okay.
No. Betty like just picks her up by her ankles and like whacks her like a club onto a giant poodle.
I think she's smart enough to figure out.
You're safe now. Yeah, she's just dead.
I think the girl is smart enough to get. Oh yeah, it's probably okay to kill these crazy death machines. might be smart.
No, she's just angry that they've ruined the moment.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
God goes back and we see him at his most primal, animalistic and vicious. He's protecting the woman he loves. He's being heroic. But in doing so, he is giving himself over to his anger and indulging in the violence. It's in moments like
no,
these
he's not
that Bruce...
indulging in it. He's got a choice. He's got a choice. Defend himself or die.
Even if he was indulging in the violence, he's still doing the right thing. He's saving them both. It's like, this is fine.
Yeah. It's fine.
Pro tip for life: if something's desperate to kill you, violence might be a good option.
Yeah. Pro tip: if your choice of fight or die, if you want to live, you have to fight.
Yeah, mutated super dogs coming after you might be hard to communicate with. You're the Hulk, by the way. You can crush them with your toes. Go ahead.
You're not Key from accountancy at this point in time. You're the fucking Hulk. You've got a chance.
You could eat them. You could probably chew them faster and just have them watch you.
I can't believe he's literally going like, you've got to be so non-toxic. You're gonna have to just let things kill you if they come at you. No, just fight back. If you enjoy you might enjoy beating the crap out of him, but you'll find that if you start enjoying it, you get a bit better at it.
Here's a fun take from Hussars V. To play Hitler's advocate, okay, I like the music, has an American Civil War vibe, though it is certainly out of place for this video.
Yeah,
PTP is a lispy chud. What?
Yeah.
I do like the music, I just find it unfitting.
Yeah, he's playing this as the Hulk's fighting 3 giant dogs to the death. This seems out of place. It's like anyway, next on Schindler's List. Yeah,
everyone knows the song.
Yeah, well, it's just you just hear that as Liam Neeson's like trying to get Jews out of Germany.
Played over Boromir's death.
Yeah, or like at a really like fun moment, or you get is like the Inception music. In a wacky family comedy, or you hear is the Inception music or something. Boom!
With the bass fully turned up.
Again. Yeah.
All right, halfway done almost.
Yeah.
Loses control, and Betty loses Bruce. Those positive masculine traits that I just talked about, maintaining solidarity with a friend, succeeding at work, providing for one's family, the Hulk can't do any of those things, which means that Bruce can't either. Because of the Hulk, Banner can't have a stable life or stable relationship.
What? Yeah, no, because he's a giant irradiated monster.
Also, I think there's certain positive traits that the Hulk can have. I just found the ones you chose weird.
Yeah. There's positive traits, aka not being ripped to death by 3 mutated dogs. That's a positive trait.
Saving someone's life might, being very good at protecting someone and saving them is kind of positive too. It's just not just being good at a job and the other things, isn't it?
Yeah. Being able to defend the person you love. Okay, so...
Hello,
Hulk.
Don't defend the people. Other people walk all over you.
So that scene we had when that black and white flick at the bar, where those guys were sort of picking on that other guy and the girl.
Yeah.
It's like if you were the Hulk, they would not do that to you. I mean, they could try, but then they get squashed.
You can't
So.
defend yourself. Yeah, they wouldn't.
So being a big, gigantic buff dude would scare the shit out of most people. So, not
but
that.
It's not even that. It's just being able to stand up for yourself. You
Right.
I was gonna make a point, but it's just.
So yeah, the idea of having this other side to you, I think he's referring to the Hulk and Banner as the same. So because he can turn into the Hulk, he can't maintain a job because he can get angry or whatever and break things, and everyone freaks out. So
yeah, but the difference is if you're a normal person, you get angry, you don't turn into a 15-foot tall green monster.
Yeah, I don't think anger is inherently masculine or whatever toxic masculinity is this time. So
yeah,
it's
anger. What do women don't feel anger? Women are never angry.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Women don't feel negative
all the emotions I have
They're always happy.
Anger and frustration and just outright loathing is just like, okay.
I would love to see his take on She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I get it. She-Hulk is also toxic masculinity.
Yeah, but what always gets me is like, men get angry. Yeah, so do women. Why do we keep pretending that women don't have negative emotions? Why do we pretend that women aren't negatives in some places?
If there's the belief that there is toxic masculinity, there's also toxic femininity, and there has to be a clear distinction, or else there's no need to use these terms. So we have to identify what is masculine per se, like aggression, whereas women. Or the typical
women have aggression.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the thing. So we have to identify exactly what's masculinely behavior for aggression. And then we have female aggression that's behavioral, and we can say, okay, that's specific. That's why we'd have the term, because if we can identify both behaviors that are almost the same, we wouldn't use the term. So,
well, I personally still don't like the terms.
No, I don't either. But if you're going to be specific and you have all these bloody adjectives and whatever, make it mean something, and then we can identify exactly what they're talking about. But we can never get that because he just used a generic definition. And we're like, yeah, kind of.
I just hate how the lefties just constantly use new adjectives to words that don't need these adjectives.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's just
I think we bled this comment dry, so let's try and keep going.
It's in this way that the Hulk becomes the perfect distillation of toxic behavior.
I didn't grasp that, so let's just move on.
The perfect distillation of toxic behavior.
By the time that Hulk was released in theaters, it had been in production for over 10 years. In America during the 1990s, corporate culture...
10 years? Holy crap.
Holy shit.
From 93?
Yeah. We're talking, what's that?
What happened?
They started working that just after Batman Returns. That's how old that is.
Wow.
had disenfranchised and de-individualized middle-class men. Menial desk jobs in colourless cubicles strip men of their masculine power, while the growing rate of fatherless families...
Okay.
What?
I beg your pardon. Wait, so you work in an office, you lose your masculinity? No?
I guess. I worked in offices all my life. I don't remember being emasculated.
Wait, yeah.
It did in no way establish how that would do that.
Oh my god, are you trying to tell me that... Did you watch Fight Club and think that was how the world is?
Coming in.
You know, you can do that if you have like an essay or something. You can give a statement like that if you have previously established what exactly masculinity is and how it can be stripped of someone.
Yeah.
But you didn't do any of that.
Also, office workers aren't all pansies. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to explain this. Office workers aren't all pansies. Just because you work in an office doesn't mean you're a wet blanket.
Very often, people have hobbies.
Mm.
And some people might have very, very masculine hobbies like boxing or...
Yeah, very often, people who work in office desks are working there because that's the only job available.
Well, that's the same with any job.
My co-worker used to be a member of the Grenadier Guards. Obviously, he left the army and he got a job in this office. He was still masculine. Because he worked in an office doesn't mean he was stripped of his masculinity. It was just a job to pay bills.
So maybe he's talking about the masculine behaviors of aggression and athleticism and I don't know, whatever a guy would do.
But this is where philosophers saying you can have hobbies just because you're working.
And even if you don't have hobbies, you can aggressively type.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Email. Email.
Also, supposedly, I thought you were supposed to the reason why you don't show anger in the job is because it's called professionalism.
Yeah. A professional is not emotional. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, I used to deal with the public face to face in my job. Do you know how many times I just literally wanted to grab a chair and smash it over someone's head? Yeah, no, I didn't because that'd be unprofessional. So I just said, yeah, don't worry, Mr. So and so, we'll get all of this sorted out, or Mrs. So and so, or Ms. or whatever it is.
I've been once have been yelled at from a very close distance by a very angry Italian man.
Yeah, it happens.
I got a complaint about my height. Do you know how I felt about that? I was too tall to work in my department. A complaint by the public. Do you think I was like, oh yeah, I'm not angry at this person? It's like, what a fucking cunt! What a fucking cunt!
Tom, you have too much testosterone flowing through your blood. It's driving us nuts. Like, what? Excuse me.
God, it's like, oh, you're 6'4", you're too toxic. I can't help it.
You're just oozing toxic. Ooh, who's that?
I can help you with that. Just let me pick up my axe and lie down. Hold your legs still. I'll help you with it.
I'll go chop some wood. I'll be right back. Okay. Get rid of all this aggression and toxic masculinity out back.
Yeah, it was like
all right.
So no. Officers don't stop you being masculine.
That's a silly statement. Taker 610. Hulk was a hedge fund manager until recently. Oh
no.
That's too bad.
Imagine if there was a Hulk on Wall Street right now.
You'd see this giant explosion. You're like, what the hell was that?
Oh, it's not even an explosion. It's just a hole in the wall. He's already gone.
A Hulk-shaped hole in the wall. You just jump through the window.
Yeah. Yep. No GameStop will stand in his way.
Led to a whole generation of boys facing a crisis of masculine identity.
Really?
Office jobs in shirts and ties alienated men from the very thing that society had always told them was valuable.
Okay, the reason why we have the business suit is very similar to the reason why we have uniforms in the military. Everyone is to be treated and respected the same way. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Does he think that society taught men to be unmitigated barbarians to just kill each other at first sight in order to compete?
I don't know what he's getting at here, so I can't say that society is planned a certain way, but there's reasons why everyone has business dress or business casual.
It's a uniform.
We are supposed to, we're supposed to see and act and look a certain way when we talk to each other. That's why you don't swear. You don't get angry. You talk it out.
It smooths over cooperation. It makes it, makes the team work well together.
Yeah.
So basically, competition.
If I turn up in a Hawaiian shirt and 3/4 length, shorts, it'd cause a bit of a ruckus, wouldn't it?
Now, I've seen lots of businessmen the past few years with full-on beards, which is very striking. And that is just not very professional in my mind, but it's socially acceptable. So it's like, whatever. Sikhs do it all the time. That's part of their culture. But I'm talking just generic guys with giant beards.
I had a beard. I had a beard growth. I didn't have a massive beard. Right. I kept it trimmed and neat. But it's when you start seeing those full-on lumberjack beards, you start going,
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
you could Here, have some Gillette. You're not a toxic male, are you?
Yeah, have some Gillette. I'll buy you some right now. Please.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
They need the money.
Valuable. Strength, practicality,
Oh,
and
they
being
brought
the
in a-
paradigmatic hunter-gatherer.
You bring in
Rather than
American
deriving a sense of
Psycho.
value from working
And
with
Fight
one's
Club.
hands,
Oh, yeah,
men were
okay.
churned up into the wheels of consumerism and suddenly had to take
We're
an
not churned up to the wheels of consumerism. This is a health fitness video. This is good for you. What are you talking about?
What?
Also, never bring up Fight Club and American Psycho about things. Those are not the films to be using.
Guys, it's
American
good.
Psycho, he's a fucking psycho!
It's good to exercise, guys. It's good to feel strong and supportive and confident and all these other positive things. So
Yep.
a desk job's not going to stop you from exercising. I'm going to tell you right now. So
Yeah. If a desk job stopped you from exercising, you weren't going to exercise beforehand.
yeah, it's like
Yes.
maybe you should change your lifestyle. But I'm not forcing you to go to a gym. I'm just saying there are things you should do in life. Exercise is one of them.
Well, exercise is actually
Put-
easy.
put-
The only,
Put the cheesy Watsits down and go for a walk.
Yeah.
technically speaking, the only thing you need for exercise is your own body. Sit-ups, push-ups, all that kind of
Yeah, it's
lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Jogging.
Find the
Yeah.
one that you like for whatever reason and just do it for 20 minutes a day. Don't care. And you're good. That's it. 20 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I don't want you to go run around your city block or whatever. But,
Yeah.
mix it up. Do some curls, do some dips, do some pull-ups. I don't care.
Yeah.
Take your
Push,
time.
punch
Yeah.
the wall every day until you're strong enough to punch through it.
Oh, my God.
Best bit of exercise, tell your significant other that yes, those jeans do make her look fat. You'll soon have a good enough exercise routine.
So I see nothing wrong with very healthy-looking men. I don't think that's toxic. I think that's healthy. I think that's good.
Yes.
Even if they're wearing spandex.
to be brutally honest with you, I'd rather see a lot of guys who look healthy than a lot of guys who are so morbidly obese that I feel that opening a pack of Skittles would cause someone to have a diabetic
Oh,
attack.
God. All right. Well, this is the only part of the video I was like, oh, this is not working for me. But he's not horrible. He's just getting his lines crossed with what's bad and what's good. That's fine. Let's go.
He's just getting confused.
That happens to everyone. He's fine. It must be the 80s. It's the 80s that really, those men in spandex.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, that's not good.
It's the 80s. We don't talk about that era.
We just watch anime from the 80s. That's it.
Yeah, and a few films, but otherwise we don't. Yeah.
interest in what gym to go to, or hair product to use, or whose name should be on the waistband of their underpants. Just as general fun.
Is this a capitalism rant? I think it's a capitalism rant.
I think
Yeah,
so
okay,
too.
that was a catalyst, right? Because I don't care what name's on my underwear. I don't spend all the time looking at it, to be honest with you.
Find the
I push
underwear
down in the
that
morning.
fits you, sir. That's all. Just whatever it is, buy it like a guy. Just buy it. Don't forget sales. Forget coupons. Just buy it. Buy all of it.
Yeah, just buy it. Yeah, just buy it. As long as,
Just
as, long as it's not got tons of holes in it, you're fine.
Just go into the clothing store nearby, just slap a lot of cash on the account and say, I take all of your underwear.
There you go. That's manly. That's how you do it. No, these credit cards.
Give me all of your pants.
All of them.
I'm going
What
to hem
size?
them
All of them.
myself like a man.
All of them. I do not care. All of them.
Here's my sewing kit. I don't need your
wide
help.
fronts or briefs. Did I fucking stutter? I said all of them.
remember that scene? I don't know if you guys saw Parks and Rec, but that's exactly the same
give me all the
line
eggs.
where he says,
Give me all the eggs and bacon.
"Give
you
me
have.
all your eggs and bacon." No, I don't think you heard me. I want all your eggs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
actually,
just more eggs and bacon. I mean all the eggs and bacon you have. Yes, that's a scene that me and my friends always play when we go to a restaurant or something. And
The other one I
breakfast
like-
together. It's like we
the
want,
one I
we
like,
want
he's in
all
the-
the eggs and bacon.
He's in the home hardware or whatever, the home improvement store. The guy starts coming up to him and is like, "Excuse me, I know more than you." He just keeps walking.
The best one is when he's got the pig in the park. He goes, "No, I have a permit. This just says I do whatever I want.
I swear, everyone was like, "What is Lagavulin 16? I have no idea. Suddenly, I want some."
One of my best ones. He goes, "Yeah, I'm trying to post this Angulette to Canada. To anyone in particular? No, all of Canada." But oh no, it's a great series.
Yeah. Anyway, back to whatever the hell we were talking about before. I can't remember.
Oh, funny thing. Sam. Oh, what's his name? The actor who's on the screen right there. Is it Elliot?
Yes, I think
I
so.
think.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, he's in Parks and Recs
Really?
as
Cool.
a vegan yoga instructor.
Oh yeah, that's right. He plays the other Ron, I think.
Yeah, Ron, surname Dunn, as in that's your surname, or this conversation is done. Both.
I like Ron.
I like Ron.
The next scene.
No,
I don't like Ron.
I've been a vegan for 25 years. I don't like Ron.
That's great.
About Ross modified Banner's abnormal affliction to create an army of super soldiers, the strength and athleticism of the male body was increasingly sexualized and superficialized in mainstream media.
Oh my god, the fucking Coke advert.
I love that.
Really?
That's a great ad.
Hey, at least he admits that men also, can be attractive and used for advertisement.
Yeah.
At least he's there.
Women, guys.
I understand that.
Big
I see
mystery
no
here.
problems with sexualized versions of people.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Women like
I don't
attractive
know.
men, muscles or otherwise. They just like attractive men, and there's lots of reasons for that. There's lots of examples, and one of them is just looking healthy and good. So,
Right. I'll tell you something now. I'm on a Facebook Messenger group with my street that's mainly filled with women, and today their talk was literally about one of the bin men who looked kind of dishy and attractive and everything, and they were just swooning over him like that Coke advert. It happens.
they may not have the
People
same
get
amount of
sexualized all
testosterone
the time.
as
I mean,
men.
good for that guy.
Yeah, no, women don't have the
Yeah,
same
good
amount
for
of
that guy.
testosterone, but they know how to use it. So, I mean, there are reasons for it.
But mainly they keep forgetting that I'm actually in this group chat. That's the main thing. 'Cause I don't post anything in it, so we think it's just a women's only thing, and then they're like, oh yeah, we've got a bloke here. I'm like, yeah, carry on, I'm fine.
Incredible Hulk was first birthed onto the pages of 1960s comics. Concepts of masculinity were undergoing a transformation of their own. Bruce Banner's origin story is set to a backdrop of sexual liberation, the civil rights movement, and the looming threat of all-out nuclear war.
Wait.
Meanwhile, the growing debate around the
that's
US's
true.
involvement in the Vietnam War was calling into question the idea of the soldier as the pinnacle of virtuous masculinity. In a similar way, when Robert Louis Stevenson first published his Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the emerging middle-class men of Victorian England were facing their own crisis of masculinity. Much like corporate America in the 1990s, industrialization had brought on great socio-economic change and left in its wake a sense of class consciousness. Men were expected to be well-mannered and genteel, and in addition to this perceived domestication of masculinity,
We should bring back the walking stick, just in general. I think that's a nice thing to have.
Perceived, but also how, even if those books,
Okay,
comics came out at certain times, you still would have to make a connection as to how it shows up in the book.
Also, was it the Dr. Jekyll is like 1860s? Is it it was written in America? There was something called the Wild Fucking West at this point in American history. Are you trying to say that they weren't manly?
They certainly have a lot of bowler hats, so I'm like, wow, that's where was this?
Also, I agree
Yeah.
with Smud. Bring back the walking guy.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. Yeah, you can use it to attack your bot. And I'm sorry.
Well, if you're an old person, I think you're going to need one anyway, so you may as well start using it, and it's very attractive, I think.
So, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was published 1886.
1886, right? Yeah. So there was still a thing called the Wild West, which was quite manly and dangerous, and the people in the smart suits probably weren't doing very well.
It was written in the 1880s, so...
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying, at this point in history, America was still expanding, so they needed, it wasn't all like this. So I don't know.
No, just because I was curious, I wanted to get the numbers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm just trying to get where he's trying to get with this. Also, in 1886, in Britain, there was a thing called the Empire, and people were going all around the globe. So you could still be manly. I'm just not really understanding where he's coming with this.
But provided you
they wore suits,
nice
so
hat.
they're not masculine.
Yeah, I prefer them in the suits, but you didn't have to need one to be a man. So
yeah, suits. Yeah, but suits are cool. Suits are great.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
I used to love wearing a suit for work.
These are nice.
I wasn't a man.
Personally, I'm all for business uniform should be plate armor.
Wow.
Okay. When I watch James Bond in a suit, I think of him. Wow, what a pussy he looks like.
No, James Bond in plate armor. That's manly.
Yeah. Not even plate armor, just the furs of a bear you killed. That's what you have to wear to be manly.
It's a cape. This is made out of the fur of a bear on your back. Like, yeah, I'm coming to work today.
But before you can before you can start working here, go hunt your uniform.
Yeah, go hunt your uniform. You tip of a squirrel. I couldn't find anything else.
Here's Joe Crazy. I'm gonna get me a pimp cane with a hidden gun. I don't know. That's a bit too much. I think.
No, you get a pimp cane with a sword.
You know what?
For such a long time, I wanted to get one of those, but then I found out that those are illegal where I live.
Yeah,
so
no. There was a guy walking around.
They're even illegal
downtown
in
Toronto,
UK. Yeah,
and he had a very elaborate outfit. He came from some part of Southern Africa. I don't remember which country, but he said, "This is not. I'm not making a statement. This is how I dress. Like this is just my fashion from where I came from." And it was like purple suit with a cane and a top hat. Like he was really ritzing himself up. And everyone thought he was like joking around or he was a pimp or something. I was like, no, this is just how I dress. This is where I come from. And he had that accent and everything. He's like a very nice old dude. He's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Well, also, if he was old, he just probably doesn't give a shit.
Oh, no, yeah. He wants to wear whatever he wants to wear. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it was a nice,
when I get old, I'm just
nice summer day. And you're like, oh, look at that. Look at that guy. He's having a great time. Yeah. Walking around.
Yeah. It's like one of the guys who lives around here who wears a vest and incredibly short shorts, even when it snows. And you're like, it's because I just enjoy wearing it. And I'm like, thank you for my nightmares. But good luck with that.
Shorts and vests. I don't know. Maybe if you're German, that might work. So
it's not even when I say short shorts. I mean we're talking Daisy Duke level of shortness.
No.
Okay, let me look up what Daisy Dukes are.
That's not. There are certain things guys probably shouldn't do.
Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah.
Anyway. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, he was wearing this in the north of England, where he was walking around. One day I watched him. There was snow around his ankle, like we had snow around our ankles, and he was wearing those. And I was like, Jesus.
Okay.
That's a man.
The Victorian era also saw the affirmation of gender roles that prevail to this day. Both Jekyll and Hyde and Hulk depict mild-mannered scientists who struggle against societal gender roles. While Dr. Jekyll is motivated by the allure of transgression and Dr. Banner by his pursuit of knowledge, both men ultimately find damnation through alter egos that uncage their primitive violent masculinity. For comic book readers, the Hulk's violent rebellion against emotional repression may be the ultimate power fantasy, and a moment of cathartic release. But the moral of...
I would say cathartic release, yes. Maybe not power fantasy. Again, we talked about this before, so we're not going to go over it again. So he's just equating masculinity with repression and these things that Jekyll and Hyde were dealing with the same way Bruce Banner was. It's like, yeah.
But he's skimming over so much.
I just don't like equating masculinity or whatever his definition of it, because as a general term, and saying this is what people have to deal with in Victoria, England. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think women.
I mean, he just said they did it, but he never shows.
I'm sure men and women were repressed sexually back in the day, because that's just how it was. It wasn't anything bad. Mm-hmm. It's just they weren't comfortable with those topics. The same with homosexuality. That was not discussed.
Yeah. Yeah, just in Britain, we didn't want those raving pufters around, you know.
They knew it was a thing. They just didn't want to talk about it. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. It's different. It was different. It was different times.
But even then, I wouldn't call that toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. That's just those were the times.
It really doesn't bother me because we don't do it nowadays, because we learned from that. The people around then are dead. I've never met them. I never will meet them.
Yeah, I did like the outfits though; those are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the outfits are fine. I enjoy the outfits in the Empire. That was cool. But having
back in the day, when the Empire was cool. Okay.
Oh, that reminds me. The high school I went to, there were loads of pictures of former teachers, and one was really, really old picture, and all of them wore these super nice suits, and all of them had super like bushy beards, and it just looked such a cool photo.
Both stories is that unfettered masculine power comes at a price, hurting those around you and isolating yourself. This is the paradigm that Ang Lee set out to accurately portray, and it's where the film's greatest strengths lie.
Okay, that was the bad part done.
Fathers and sons. Oh, right, okay.
In addition to the militaristic masculinity of Thunderbolt Ross, the corporate masculinity of Major Talbot, and Bruce's own tortured masculinity, the real villain of the piece is something much more menacing. Daddy issues.
I don't know why, but it cracked me so much when he compared like this kind of masculinity, and tortured masculinity. I don't know, it just cracked me up.
I still can't take seriously that scene.
What, Nick Nolte?
It's like that clip of the hamster turning.
Message coming in.
Oh yeah.
Patching it through.
Oh, sorry. Well done. That was a good bit of comedy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I like that.
Here's Joe Crazy. Is it really a power fantasy when Bruce has little to no control over the Hulk? This is one of the questions we had, especially since the Hulk is a separate personality from Bruce. Yeah, you don't know you're doing it. So whatever catharsis there was for Bruce, he doesn't remember. So
it's like the scene where he beats up the Major because that's why he's in a sling and a neck brace for the rest of the thing. Bruce doesn't remember doing it.
It's kind of like your imaginary friend is helping you out.
Yeah,
he just happens to be this physical manifestation of yourself. So, I just like this one because he deals with the parent angle of why Bruce is the way he is, not because of the gamma rays, but because of his personality.
All right, yeah.
As Ang Lee puts it in his director's commentary for the film, every boy's worst nightmare, your dad is a puny human. David Banner, named after the...
Really?
What? What? No, my dad's not a fucking god.
What if your dad is a midget? What's wrong with that?
What?
Is he taking the phrase every dad is their kid's superhero, like literally? Because no.
Yeah, but even then, even if they were literally physically small, they would be a superhero in your eyes because it's your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your dad is yeah.
You love your dad. It's like this thing. The same with your mom. It's like that. You just think of them. It's like, yeah, that's my dad. Everything he does is great.
Yeah. But you reach teenage years and you go against them.
Yeah, exactly.
7 Incredible Hulk TV series, and played here by gravelly advert for why you should use conditioner, Nick Nolte, was also a genetic scientist like his son. During the film's opening credits, we see a young David experimenting on animals, extracting DNA, and mixing ominous green liquids. After learning that the government has put the kibosh on his super soldier project, the enraged scientist, already consumed by his work, takes matters into his own hands, and becomes the first human test subject. But when little Bruce Banner is born shortly thereafter, it becomes clear that anger runs in the family. You see, Bruce getting a face full of gamma radiation serves as the catalyst for his transformation into the Hulk, but it's not the root cause of his terrible temperament. He inherited his altered genetics from his father. The Hulk isn't just some freak science project gone wrong, not really. This is the story of a toxic childhood and the legacy of an abusive father.
Okay, so then we're back to the word toxic again. What did he do in any of these scenes that caused the son to be hurt? That's what I want to see. Like, he's scared, I think, in this scene, but we don't know why.
Yeah.
So don't say toxic childhood. Say, here's where he's abused as a kid. Here's where he's scared and why. That's what I want to see. Not toxic child. What is toxic childhood now? What does that mean?
If your parents misgender you, that's extremely toxic.
Like, what's toxic fatherhood? What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't like throwing these words, but I'm really, really cautious when people start using them, and I really want to know what they mean.
To be brutally honest, until I've just said it now, toxic fatherhood, that has never come across. Never been something that's been brought up in my life.
It's like when people start calling you a name, and it's like, I don't know. Are you insulting me? Like, I don't know what a chud is. Like, what are you trying to tell? Can you define the word? So,
God, you're just full of toxic fatherhood.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Don't know where to go from there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Throughout the film, there is a recurring motif of a closed door. It's something that haunts Bruce in flashbacks, and also when he and Betty later revisit his childhood home. The closed door explicitly represents the bedroom door behind which David Banner abused and ultimately murdered Bruce's mother. But it also symbolises emotional...
Okay, that's bad.
Murder is bad. Yes, okay, yes.
That's very bad.
That would scare the shit out of a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I still wouldn't call that toxic masculinity.
That's not toxic fatherhood. That's just your dad's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There's different words you could use. Let's use words that we all agree we know the meanings for instead of these fake words.
I think being a murderer is pretty clear cut. So
your dad's an insane psychopathic murderer. Yeah. Okay, not toxic fatherhood.
That's true. That's good. Yeah.
To be honest with you, toxic fatherhood, he's getting off lightly.
Yeah, I guess he's still not in jail yet. All this time.
Yeah.
And the monster that lurks behind the door, locked away and waiting to be set free. In fact, these flashbacks and ghostly voices from the past occur throughout the film, underpinning the long-lasting effects of a traumatic childhood. There's actually some precedent for this in the comics. Bill Mantlo first introduced the idea of Bruce being the victim of an abusive father back in the 1980s, while legendary Hulk scribe Peter David expanded further by suggesting that Banner's multiple personalities were the direct result of his childhood abuse. In The Incredible Hulk issue 377, Bruce dives deep into his subconscious and finds that his memories are being terrorized by a mysterious monster. We soon learn that the monster represents an abusive father, who, just like in the film, kills Bruce's mother, causing him to suppress his emotions.
Cry, show some emotion.
Emotion's bad. It hurts people.
Not all emotion. Cry, blasted. Cry big, racking sobs.
There. I reacted.
Cool.
A nuclear reaction. Happy now?
Yes, the 18th.
Much like Frankenstein's monster, Bruce Banner is burdened by the ambition of his creator. He didn't ask to be made this way, and he rejects his father's legacy even though he's doomed to fulfill it. In fact, parent-child tensions are a recurring theme in Mary Shelley's pioneering work of Gothic horror. Victor Frankenstein both literally circumvents femininity by finding a way to create life without the need of a mother, and figuratively rejects femininity by being unloving and unnurturing towards his nascent offspring. As is the case with Hulk, it's the trauma of this discompassionate upbringing that truly creates the monster. While both father...
Hold on, sorry, I'm just going to pause this. You don't say caring for your child is a feminine trait. don't even try and start saying that. That's utter bullshit. That is... from personal experience, that's fucking bullshit.
Yes, Frankenstein's monster clearly was fucked up because the doctor didn't show him any feminine love.
The doctor didn't play catch with him in a meadow. Yeah, sure. No, the monster's fucked up because he's fucking different part. He's an abomination of different parts and everything. Unfortunately,
it was more of a can I do it? No one else will do it. I'm going to do it. I want to be able to create life, and is all the idea of what does it mean to be God and yada yada. So it's more like
and
I can do this thing. I've cheated death. I have cheated life. Whatever.
Yeah.
And he then gets scared of it because it's such an abomination against nature.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's the consequence.
It's made of dead things.
Yeah, it's the consequence of doing that. But yeah, I hate this whole idea that caring for your offsprings is a female thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I love my son deeply. It doesn't make me, it's not a female thing. It's a natural thing. Also, I have access. My son doesn't see his mum. His mum has nothing to do with him. So, how does how she is that toxic masculinity on her behalf?
Your son will turn into a monster because of that.
Yeah, my son will turn into... Well, he's my son, so he's already screwed. But, yeah, you can't... Stop thinking all women are delicate little flowers with stuff. There's some horrible women out there.
Yes.
You can't just... This is what gets me annoyed with this toxic masculinity. It's like the only negative traits are ever with men. And we just completely ignore women. And then... we come up with, the non-feminine way of caring for children. Get Ben. You get absolute Ben. Just because I'm a male doesn't mean I'm going to disregard my child. Ugh.
Anyway.
While both Son and Hulk are scientists consumed by their work in the same field, there is one crucial distinction between their motivations. While David Banner seeks to militarize his genetics work by creating super soldiers, Bruce harnesses nanomer technology to cure sicknesses such as cancer and Alzheimer's. Again, we see the juxtaposition of the traditionally masculine ideals of war and competition versus the non-masculine compassion and altruism.
What? I don't know about that. That's just different kinds of research.
Being nice isn't masculine. Okay, cool.
This is an argument.
Fine.
If you get into
if
you get into the job of selling weapons to the government, you're bad. You're masculine. That's not good. You should be selling medicine and stretchers and things.
You should be selling medicine to the government.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. You still sell it to the government. They decide what happens with it. Who's to say they won't take what you've found to cure cancer and use it as a weapon?
So
after you sell it to them.
Anyone who makes weapons is bad. Anyone who doesn't make weapons is good, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I just...
yeah, well...
That's such a stupid thing.
But to say it's masculine is just stupid. That is really dumb.
Do you know how many serial killers were not involved with war? Just want to point this out. Yeah. How many horrible people who are not involved with the government there are of selling weapons?
Maybe I should have paid more attention to this video just before I said it was going to be a good video.
He's got decent points in regards to the making of the movie.
Yeah.
And what the director wanted to put across. He did some good points with that, and what their ideas were. Is when he starts trying to push it into this toxic masculinity mold, it's like it all falls apart.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I think he's using the term so much that it's just become ubiquitous with his argument. You're like, well, you were starting off okay as a general term, and now it's morphed into people who make weapons or whatever for the government is bad but trying to cure diseases.
Men with. It's getting to the point where it's just like men with a spine are toxic. Okay.
Yeah, if you make a cure for a disease, you don't think the military is going to say, "Oh, we can use that. That'd be great."
Yeah, if we can reverse engineer this, we might be able to give people cancer and make them ill, or use it as some sort of bioweapon.
Right. Yeah.
That might be a thing that could happen.
Yeah. Anyway, this is getting a little silly, but I think we understand what he's saying. He's just doing it in a very silly way.
Hulk's third act climax met some derision from critics at the time of its release. The fully computer-generated fight between Bruce Banner and his formless father, which culminates in the latter swelling into a mushroom cloud of negative emotions, was considered too abstract by most audiences. With one
No kidding. He's fighting an abstract cloud of his dad. Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
He's the absorbent man, supposedly. So he absorbs all his powers and everything, and it becomes like the gamma explosion. But the CGI battle, yes, because unfortunately they couldn't actually hire a real-life giant atomic cloud for the role, nor a giant green man.
You have to see, Smud. One of the manliest thing you can do is killing clouds.
No, toxic masculinity of turning into a cloud.
You know how we said before, he should have borrowed some ideas from the comic. It's like, maybe not this one. This one, it's when you're adapting something from a crazy visual medium specific to comics, you gotta make it a bit more grounded in reality. So unless this is a psychedelic drug trip,
the major problem is the absorbent man absorbs all the power that Hulk has. So every punch, you just get stronger and stronger.
Right.
So then you sort of like write yourself into a corner of how you've got to defeat the person. They fight underwater for bits and bobs of it. It's really weird. And I really can't remember how it actually ends because I sort of fall asleep at this point.
It's the same problem with the Black Panther fight. It's just two invincible guys jumping around at each other. And
wailing away at each other.
This is pointless, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were referring to it as, quote, a big noise. But once again, I feel like this is one aspect of the movie that is often misunderstood. In this scene, Bruce and the Hulk are unified, as we hear the not-so-jolly green giant string a sentence together for the first time.
You think you can live with it? Take it!
Is he man or monster? Or is he both?
Sophisticated.
This now humanized Hulk realizes that the only way to overcome his abusive father is to unlock that door and let those negative emotions out. Meanwhile, it's David Banner who becomes the embodiment of Bruce's anger and trauma. The power struggle between father and son reflects the two halves of Bruce's fractured psyche, the yin and the yang. But now Hulk is the inner child, and David is the enormous green rage monster. As Robert Louis Stevenson writes in the closing chapter of Jekyll and Hyde, it was the curse of mankind that these incongruous figures were thus bound together, that in the agonized womb of consciousness, these polar twins should be continuously struggling.
Cool story.
Yay, we're done.
When I was a kid, I always related most to Peter Parker. I think a lot of comic book fans do. We like to imagine ourselves as the shy and nerdy but ultimately righteous hero who will always prevail against evil. But the older I get, the more I find that I'm no Peter Parker. I'm Bruce Banner. I think we all have a Hulk that rages inside of us, and it's not just the things that make...
When I get older, I get more chilled out. I don't know what he's talking about, so...
Yeah, as I get, I'm going through my Dr. Cox phase from Scrubs at this moment in time. But I'm expecting to mellow out in a bit.
Yeah, after about a few years, you're like, yeah, I'm used to this shit by now. I think I could not react like an atom bomb every time someone pisses me off, so I think I'm good.
I just try and use snarky comment now.
Sarcasm.
Well, it is half my name. But why do you? What? But yeah, he said he connected the most with the Hulk as a child, and now he's connected most to Peter Parker. What are you? Who are you?
I'm regressing.
Which one?
I'm getting less emotionally stable. Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm becoming less
Yeah, as I
mature.
grow up, the more and more I want to turn into a giant green guy and smash the crap out
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna
things.
kill people soon. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with identifying with the character as you grow old. Say I identify more with the Hulk because I don't know, whatever reason. Just to have this bunch of anger that you're repressing is probably not a good example of
No,
mental
might
health.
be that. Yeah.
So might
to
want
let
to take a look
anger
at
out.
that. And the thing about
Otherwise,
Peter
it will-
Parker,
it
one of
will
his storylines was he was turning into the Man Spider, which is very similar to the Hulk. So,
Yes.
kind of the same
Very,
scenario.
very weird story.
Yeah, Man Spider's like, ooh, geez, how far did that spider bite go? I was like, oh, it's rewriting his DNA.
It always, whenever I think of that story, it always reminds me of the movie Earth versus the Spider. Is it Earth versus the Spider or
Humanity versus some
Yeah,
alien species which are spider-like. Yeah.
No, because the guy is a comic book fan and wants to be like Spider-Man, so he injects himself with a serum and gets 2 extra arms.
Oh.
And becomes the hero. But unfortunately, it keeps turning him more and more into a spider.
Really?
And he starts killing people. It starts off as like a quirky superhero movie, then evolves into like straight up horror.
Wow. When was this movie?
It's like in the 90s.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
I think. Hold on. I'll have a look.
All right. Well, we're almost done. He's just sort of getting personal right here. So we're pretty much done the video. But
yeah, I'm not.
As angry,
Yeah, that's why.
It's our
I'm
worst
easily
fears
moving
and
on.
our greatest insecurities. It's any time we've ever felt powerless, rejected, or
yeah,
inadequate.
Earth versus the Spider. Yeah, 2001. That movie came out. It has Dan Aykroyd in it.
wow. Who saw that coming? Dan Aykroyd.
Is he talking about what kind of film?
Dan Aykroyd likes talking about everything, so I don't know.
Well, he loves selling his vodka.
Yeah, but it comes with a story about in the ancient Egypt. So they were worshiping the crystal skull as a god. And like, what the hell are you talking about? Just is it good vodka or not? Like, what are you? It's actually pretty good vodka. But I don't.
No,
I'm not a vodka guy.
this seems it's a decent film. It starts off good, but yeah,
All right.
yeah, the makeup for the spider is quite interesting.
Okay. All right.
It's the things that make us anxious or self-conscious, make it difficult to connect with others, or just make us really fucking sad.
Okay. I don't think anger prevents me from connecting with others unless I'm angry at the person. So if I'm like angry and someone else is trying to be nice to me, I'm not like, okay, maybe I should just keep getting angry at this person. No, there's some random nice stranger who's trying to help me. It's like, oh, okay. It's kind of why you go to a bar and have a drink. You just chill out. Like, oh, thank God, a beer. It's like random person. Yeah, how's it going? Whatever. No, I'm angry at you.
You can't be like General Ross and his army and fight that Hulk. You won't win. You'll just end up hurting yourself and those around you. But you can be more like Betty. You can be kind and you can be compassionate and you can listen to what your Hulk has got to say.
Hulk never said anything, but I think I know what he means. That's fine.
Yeah, I know what he means.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's quoting stuff. What's going on here?
Screen right now are some mental health organisations and resources
Okay.
that, I don't know, maybe you'll find helpful. I'll also put links to all of these in the description of this video.
That's good.
If you are feeling lost or hopeless or frustrated, I just want to say that you're not alone. There is help out there and there are people who understand
Coronavirus
whatever
online
it is that
therapy.
you're going through.
Wow.
It's not weak to ask for help if you need it. It doesn't make you a puny banner. In fact, it makes you strong, like the Hulk. It's okay to be sad and angry. You know, God knows there's a lot of things to be sad and angry about in the world right now. And after all,
It's not that easy
All right.
being green.
Wait, hold on. Here's the thing. The video
Hey,
was
John?
supposed to end with me singing Being Green. You know, the Kermit the
don't
Frog
care.
song about wishing you were something else, but ultimately realizing your own dignity and self-worth. If you haven't heard the song before, please go look it up because it's beautiful, and I chose it because I thought it would be funny and goofy, but at the same time poignant and moving. But then YouTube slapped me with a big old copyright claim, so I guess that's not happening anymore. Instead, I'll just say this. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching. Stay safe and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, so he turned it into a weird PSA at the end. That's totally fine. I don't mind that. So
That's fine. I don't care.
it wasn't that bad. He did not sound crazy. Just a little bit indoctrination from the whole woke, toxic masculinity bullshit. But, didn't drive me nuts. We had a good laugh. And I think he's a generally nice guy. So I think that's cool.
Oh, by the way, I did manage to find some pictures of that movie. I'll just put them in the Discord.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, if you look at them, they look pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, horrifying, but...
And yes, that is, in one of the pictures, yes, that is Dan Aykroyd with a gun about to shoot a spider monster. That is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd, wow.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. No, I've never heard of this film, so that's pretty neat. Anyway, guys.
I only know because it's one that my uncle has in his massive movie collection. And it starts off really well, and I was enjoying it as a kid. Then it changes, and I was horrified.
As a kid, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, you know what? That was pretty fun. It wasn't too crazy. It was fun to listen to his masterpiece of a film he enjoyed, and ended on a good note. So I always like him to respect his audience and all the other things that go along with making a video. He didn't try to bash. He didn't attack anyone. I saw that. He wasn't like, no. Oh, you don't like Last of Us 2, that means you're a bigot. You're like, oh, thanks, I think.
I mean, I think my two, well, my one big issue is just that he didn't quite show her that is in the film, and some of his claims were just claims, and that's that.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was just like, well, I'm saying this. And evidence, go.
Well, the thing is, he liked the film and he appreciated all the weirdness of it, where a lot of people are like, this is too abstract, I can't grasp the fight with the cloud monster at the end and all the other things with the dogs. It's like, yeah, not the best idea for a director, which took 10 years to make. That's crazy. Holy jeez. You can imagine how much money they burnt doing scenes that weren't even in the film. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, God, imagine being an up-and-coming actor, doing all your scenes, like, oh, sorry, we cut it.
Yeah, well, that happens a lot.
Not seen anything for 10 more years, you're like, oh, great.
Yeah, can you imagine the Star Wars films, all the crap that went into making all these sets and all these props, and they never even get shown. So, that's a thing. Oof. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Keep the suggestions coming. I just refreshed the suggestions channel, so there should be everything should be new. I've added them if they're there. If the ones we haven't covered and you really want us to cover and you think they're really important, just message me directly, and I'll be happy to add them to the list if there's something that you think is really a good video to cover. I'm glad I got Crazy Philosopher to come in because I know you've been busy, and hopefully you're good to argue. There wasn't that much stuff to talk about in terms of philosophy or
really.
Ethics. And
that was a nice, easy one, considering that this is now 5 in a row that I've been on, and they've progressively got worse.
Yeah, no. So this was the right length, the right tone, and it was positive. There wasn't any, you're an idiot if you don't get this, or you're blind. It's like, oh, really? Okay. So I liked the guy.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. It was nice. It was a nice, easy video to go through, and he didn't make any outlandish points. Well, too many outlandish points.
Let me say it like this: he seems sincere, and he seems like he cared.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I like the
especially
video.
Especially at the end with that. I know. I say I don't care about that PSA, but that's nice. It it felt that he wanted to do it because he believes that he's doing something good with it. It's not like a virtue signaling thing.
Yeah.
He's like, no, seriously, this will help you out. Please do use this, which is nice.
Which was done last year as well in May, so that was during the virus, so he was aware of that.
The height of it.
Yeah. So
by
anyway.
now he's probably thinking, fucking hell, fire, can't do any more.
So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Keep the suggestions coming, keep the voting going, and we'll talk to you real soon, hopefully tomorrow. So have yourself a great evening. Good night, folks.